Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right everybody, thanks for checking out the video. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and this is the weekly comic book review, and it's the show where I read a lot of comic books, and I'll let you know what I thought about them. We got some exciting books this week, and we always start with the pick of the week. This week's pick of the week, Little Bird number 3. From Image Comics. This book has been amazing. It's just been so fantastic. 3 issues through out of 5, so we got 2 left. This book has just been elegant. It's been sophisticated. It's been hyper-violent, yet deeply rich and nuanced as well. Fantastic stuff. I absolutely love it. I love the hyper-detailed, ultra-textured artwork. Great composition. The lettering, the coloring, it all works together. One vision, one voice, one relevant story about a battle for freedom against a theocracy in a crazy sci-fi world. Great world building that's just mostly, it's not all about exposition or telling you what's going on. It's about showing you what's going on through the artwork and through the actions of the characters. The characters are rich and intriguing. I could just go on and on and on about Little Bird. I cannot wait till this is over, and so I know the whole story and I can go back and reflect on it, because each issue I read multiple times and I pick up new little things, little touches here in the artwork, little touches here in the script, little mentions here, little character moments, right? Great stuff from the entire creative team. They really have knocked this one out of the park. Each issue, I believe, has hit the pick of the week. That's pretty crazy. Pretty awesome. So Little Bird number 3 is out this week. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. For Marvel Comics, we got the big epic crossover, War of the Realms, coming through with issue number 4. I guess it's the end of Act 2 of War of the Realms. It's been very speedy. One of the problems with Marvel events of the last 10 or so years is that they wind up being so long, the ultimate being Secret Empire. It was like so many chapters spread out over so many months. This one of my favorite things about War of the Realms is we're 4 issues in already. This thing just started. It just keeps popping. Bam, 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 bam. We got some tie-ins too this week. We'll get to those in just a minute. But the main story is pretty cool. Some big epic Marvel moments happen in these pages. It does feel like maybe we should have read the whole Strike Force in the Land of the Giants first. That's not out yet, but it feels like we're missing something in the story there. The artwork, though, is, oh my goodness, it's supremely detailed. Dodderman just does a fantastic job. Matt Wilson has luminescent coloring. Fantastic work. Big, epic. This is a fun Marvel comic book event, and it's a nice wrap-up to this big, giant, epic tale that Jason Aaron has been telling in the pages of Thor, just exploding into one big thing. And Blade fans, he's in here for a page, so always got to point out when Blade's in a comic, right? War of the Realms number 4, though, a nice, impactful ending of Act 2 of this big epic saga. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Obviously, the heroes are going to come up and take care of things, but I'm really liking War of the Realms right now, especially anchored with that beautiful artwork from Dodderman and Wilson there. War of the Realms has Strike Force, the War Avengers. So what this is I would recommend that you read this before you read this, if you pick this up. This is a decent enough tie-in. It's about Captain Marvel and all the random assortment of heroes slash anti-heroes that she comes across while she's trying to defend the Earth from Malekith's forces, while all those other teams are off in their missions, you know. So we got Captain America leading a team trying to get Thor out of Jotunheim, and we got Punisher and Blade and a few others on a team led by Freya that are going to try to shut down the Black Bifrost, right? So while that's going on, it's up to Captain Marvel and company to protect Midgard. That's what this story is. So it's nice. Deadpool fans, you definitely want to check it out because there's plenty of Deadpool in here. It's got some nice moments with Freya, some confusing moments with the Venom. I don't know what's going on with Venom and War of the Realms. If you read his book, it's one thing. You read this book, it seems like it's another. I have no idea. It's just crazy. It's all over the place sometimes, with the Venom stuff especially. Punisher, though, by the way, has been a big focal point of War of the Realms, more so than I thought he would. But this is a decent enough tie-in. It's interesting. It shows a little bit more of what's going on worldwide with the invasion from Malekith's forces. But aside from that, I think it's ultimately okay. It's kind of forgettable, and it's not essential whatsoever. Another one that's not essential and kind of forgettable might be SpiderMan and the League of Realms, but this one was actually very fun, very light, very breezy, very brisk. It was a nice one. It's SpiderMan. This takes place after War of the Realms issue number 4. So it's SpiderMan with basically a member of each of the other realms, and they're going into Africa. So what's really cool is to see Africa, which is taking over by the Angels right now. So it's really cool to kind of see that that world, that level of it explored. And that's one thing that's kind of cool about these tie-ins, is they do explore a little bit more than just what's happening in the United States, because it seems like New York is the focus mostly on War of the Realms, but there's a lot more going on. This gets to flesh that stuff out. So if you're a big Spidey fan, I think you'll like it. It's fun, it's brisk, and it's breezy. It's pretty decent, but kind of forgettable as well and not essential. War of the Realms also has a Giant Man miniseries debuting this week. This one, not really significant as far as the ongoing story goes, but very fun. Very fun and very humorous. This has a very humorous tone to it. It's got Scott Lang, Ant-Man, it's got the new Giant Man, it's got Goliath, and it's got Atlas. And it's mostly played for jokes. Gets a little verbose at times, maybe overly so. Gets a little heavy on some exposition. But the tale is basically that Freya sends the Giant Men to pretend that they are frost giants. And hilarity ensues. Also some cool superhero action, but not essential. None of those tie-ins are essential to the main story. Out of all of them, the one I thought I liked the best was probably, I don't know, I guess the Giant Man one. It's all right. It's all right. But War of the Realms, the main title, I'm pretty solid on right now. Donny Cates, Jeff Shaw, and company bring us Guardians of the Galaxy #5, the penultimate issue of the first story arc from Cates and Shaw. Amazing. Exciting. A very exciting ending cliffhanger that leads into what's about to happen. Real fun stuff. Maybe some people saw it coming, maybe some people didn't, but I really, really like it. Jeff Shaw's artwork, which I've had a little bit of, I just feel like there's been some growing pains on a Cosmic Marvel book for some reason, but I really feel like it's leveled out, and he's pumping out some really tight pencils right now with the David Curiel on the coloring, doing a fantastic job there. Really do like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's fun. This has got some big moments, and Beta Ray Bill fans, it's got a nice little throwback to what just recently happened in Death of the Inhumans. Maybe a certain four-legged Inhuman shows up. But some really fun stuff, some nice surprises. Guardians of the Galaxy out this week. From Chip Zdarsky, Marco Cicchetto, and Sonny Zhao, we have Daredevil #5 this week. Daredevil's just been awesome. Daredevil's been great. Daredevil's been so good since they've relaunched it with Zdarsky and company. He understands the character. He understands the approach that we're looking for. Fans of the show, you could jump right in here. You get what's going on. Friends and fans of the old school Frank Miller, Brian Michael Bendis type stuff. If you like that, you're gonna like this. You like the Denny O'Neil stuff, the Anna Cinti stuff, the really gritty, tortured, guilt-ridden Daredevil. Well, here it is. Daredevil may have been responsible for killing someone accidentally, so he's just racked with guilt. He's got his mind all messed up between the Kingpin doing this and the cops chasing him down. He's battling cops. He's trying to protect his innocence. Punisher they had a Punisher issue. Great issue right here. The artwork is just so good. It just jumps off the page. It's very dynamic. It's got high-octane action, but it also has a nice balance with real deep character moments, and seriously, a really cool character study into Matt Murdock. Maybe some things that we have seen before, but it's fresh, especially with that beautiful, illustrious artwork. Really cool stuff in Daredevil #5 this week. Speaking of writer Chip Zdarsky, Spider-Man Life Story #3, the 1980s. So this is taking Spider-Man, starting in 1961, and aging him in real time and kind of telling a version of the Spider-Man entire story, right? So in the 80s, this is a really great issue, probably the best issue yet. I really did like it. It's a great character study on Peter Parker and how it's cool to see, in this miniseries, you see the effects of things, not just time, and I like the little references. Previously, we've had references to the Vietnam War, and this one we get references to the Cold War and some rising tensions because of that, but it also has some nice nostalgic throwback to stories like Secret Wars and Kraven's Last Hunt. So some really fun stuff in here. I am loving this book. Mark Bagley on the artwork, my favorite Spider-Man artist. When he draws Spider-Man swinging, I love it. I love it. But it's a nice new take on the alien symbiote idea. And just, I like seeing a Spider-Man that ages and seeing the effects on his body and the way that that kind of goes into his decision to keep this costume. Really fun stuff. I'm just loving it. Loving it. Immortal Hulk is out. The book that just does not stop. This book just keeps getting hotter and hotter. Issue #17 is out this week. Joe Fixit is back. In a way, really fun, really exciting. This is a horror comic, and even at the moments when you're reading this book, like there was in this issue I was reading it, and I was like, they're dropping the whole horror aesthetic, right? And then all of a sudden I turn the page. No, not at all. Great stuff. Big, epic, boisterous artwork. Hyper detailed. Hyper detail is the word of the day. The Immortal Hulk's Joe Bennett, who's been doing the best work of his career. I love his artwork. I love his layouts. Al Ewing's doing a great job making the Hulk an exciting book to read, a mysterious book to read. And he's got all those elements that's kind of needed. And it's all working right now because this book is soaring, soaring. Amazing Spider-Man number 21 is here with the penultimate chapter of Hunted, finally. Because let me tell you something, I'm loving this Hunted story. I really do like it. But one of my criticisms on Nick Spencer's work is that sometimes it takes him too long to tell a story. Hunted is doing that right now, especially with all the point HUs. I'll be honest, they've mostly been good. But reading it issue to issue, I feel like, man, this is a rather quick, tight, simple story for so much to be dedicated to it, right? I mean, I'm liking the story. I'm not talking smack about the book. I think Spencer and company are doing a great job with Amazing Spider-Man right now. I just feel like this Hunted story, since this isn't even like the big thing that we're building up to, because that's coming in issue 25, it just feels like this is going on for a while. Or maybe it's just my perception of it, but I'm ready for it to end. But I am enjoying this book. But I feel like each issue is a half of issue worth of story. If that makes sense. Uncanny XMen number 18 is here. This book's starting to get boring. It's starting to lose my interest. Especially now with the news that we have about Jonathan Hickman coming in to revamp the X-Men universe and knowing, once more fully knowing that this is mostly placeholder type stuff. It's starting to feel placeholder. The first story arc I think was really, really solid. Bringing the team back together. The reignition of hope in the X universe. But it's all fallen away by issue 18, and I'm just kind of lunking along only just to kind of keep up with what's going on. But so many big things happen with no ultimate like feeling or drama given to them. It's just weird. I don't know. Uncanny X-Men's really losing my interest. Ironheart, though, is not. Issue number 6. So now the conclusion of her first arc, right? So now we have a nice one-and-done story, a team up with Miles Morales. It's also a nice ode to the film Groundhog Day, which I love that film. I love this character. I love that character. I love this book. Eva L. Ewing has been doing an amazing job on this book. The artwork is tight, crisp, and clear. It reads like a classic Marvel comic book. It's tied into continuity. It's significant. It's new reader friendly. I'm just loving Ironheart. Great dialogue, great snappy pace throughout. Loving it right now. Riri Williams, Ironheart number 6 out this week. Lando Calrissian makes his debut in the Age of Rebellion. These one-shots by Star Wars, so they did Age of Republic, they're all right. The Age of Rebellion ones that have been written by Greg Pak have been awesome. They've been really good. They've been fantastic. They've been spectacular, even, right? This Lando Calrissian one's pretty solid. It's got decent artwork, but it's got really, really luscious coloring by Tamara Bonvillain. Really love the job that she did on this book. But the story's there. It's cool to see this side of Lando. These one-shots from the Age of Rebellion have been on point. On point. Lando's no exception. Star Wars TIE Fighter, the second issue. This is a really captivating miniseries. It's about the TIE Fighters from their perspective. And the twists and turns that are done in this issue are very satisfying. They're really fun. And it feels like a Star Wars tale. Like a Star Wars tale that's not just about your typical Star Wars fare. This is about the TIE Fighters. And it's cool. And it's got nice space action. Especially for a comic book. It flows and it just pops you right there. I'm really liking TIE Fighter. I love that book. That's pretty cool. Let's jump over to DC real quick. I'm amazed that I like TIE Fighter so much. Most of these Star Wars miniseries, I'm like, they're all right? But man, TIE Fighters, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I really am. Justice League number 24 is out from DC Comics this week. I'm loving Scott Snyder's Justice League run. Jorge Jimenez as well on the artwork. Dynamic, high energy, just in your face, jumping off the page. Crazy cool concepts. High cosmic level threats. It feels dire, it feels epic, it feels big, it feels imaginative, hyper imaginative even. Loving this story, The Sixth Dimension. Love this one. Explains what the fifth dimension is, how it relates to the story, how it relates to the characters, how it relates to comic books and you. I'm really liking it. I think Scott Snyder is doing some of his best superhero work he's ever done right now in the pages of Justice League, especially with Jimenez and Sanchez on the artwork. They're doing a great job. Batman number 71, the book that divides us all. So I'm really liking Tom King's Batman right now. I know the Nightmare story kind of went on a little bit long, but now that it's over, everything's kind of set up. We know where we're going, and I'm loving it right now. Tom King is doing a sequel to Nightfall, basically. And I don't really necessarily like the idea that it involves Thomas Wayne, because in Superman we got Jor-El back, and now we get Thomas Wayne back, and they're like weird versions of it, and it's like, I don't know. You kind of got both Superman and Batman have their dads back, and they're having some major problems with them, right? But anyway, I did like this one a lot. Mikhail Hanen on the artwork, alternating every other page with Jorge Fornes. Fantastic. I just love their artwork. And it doesn't have, they don't have the same style at all, but the way that the story is structured and told, it really, really works, and it really flows well. And I'm liking it. Bane is just messing Batman up more than he ever did during Nightfall. Like, this is truly, like, back then he broke him. He broke him mentally. He broke him physically. But I don't think he quite broke him spiritually. Man, he really is trying to do that right here in Batman 71. Batman is losing it. And it's all because of Bane. And I think that's awesome. Tom King has a very lyrical pace to his books. He's got a nice, tight, strict structure. And I really, really like that about his writing. And I really like this issue of Batman. I thought it was really solid. Superman number 11 is here. Ivan Reis is on this issue. We've explained what happened to Jonathan. Now we got the chaos with this crazy attack of Jor-El's space station or whatever, right? So the artwork by Ivan Reis is amazing. It's extravagant. It's just rambunctious. Is that a word? It's crazy awesome. It's really good. Big, epic, sprawling, right? The story, though, wearing a little thin on me. And this is a criticism a lot of people have on Bendis, is that sometimes he takes a story and stretches it paper thin, a little too long, until it just kind of fizzles out, right? I hope that's not what's going on here. I'm still open-minded and reading it and being like, we're going to deal with the whole grown-up Jonathan Kent. But after some scenes in this issue with a young Jonathan Kent, it makes me realize how much I miss that and what an opportunity Bendis is missing by all of a sudden making Jonathan a teenager. Big, epic, fun superhero action, but the story itself is just like, let's move. What's the actual direction? Is the actual direction of this book just going to be Rogal, Zar, Gore, whatever his name is? See, I don't even know his name, and I've been reading this book the whole time. It's Rogol, Zor, I don't know. It's something like that, right? Is it just going to be him, like, bouncing back and forth, kicking Superman's ass every once in a while? And Superman being like, ugh, Dad, right? I don't know. Story's starting to really wear me out. But one story that's not wearing me out, that Bendis is partly responsible for, is Naomi. Naomi number 5 is out this week, written by David F. Walker and Brian Michael Bendis, with amazing artwork by Jamal Campbell. The artwork is one of the stars of the show. It is beautiful. It is huge. It is big. I don't want to show you anything from the inside of this because this is a spoilery type issue, because just like issue 4, this is an origin issue fully explaining, for the most part, who Naomi is, where she comes from, what's the deal, what's going on, and a really cool setup at the end. It's very exciting for the next issue, which is the final issue of the first volume. So this is the penultimate issue of the first arc. Unless they stretch it to 7. Bendis sometimes does that out of nowhere, right? They just recently did that with Batman Who Laughs. Scott Snyder did, right? Anyway, Naomi number 5 was excellent. I love the artwork. It's exhilarating. It's thrilling. This book is so much fun, and I'm really, really digging it. Naomi is a really cool character, and Walker and Bendis have really done a great job, especially with Campbell and that artwork. They're keeping it dynamic and big and explosive. And for an issue that's mostly exposition, it flows. It flows so well. It does it excellently. Really good. Really good stuff. Aquaman number 48 is here. Look at that awesome cover. Look at that awesome cover. So this is like an origin recap type thing. Aquaman is now on the brink of remembering who he is. And so he's going to have to go through this whole, it seems like this whole arc is going to be like him kind of like going through these trials, trying to remember little bits of his memory. I don't know. But it's a nice way for new readers coming in, if you like the Aquaman movie and you want to check out tattooed, long-haired, bearded Aquaman, because that's what he is now. If you want to read that, this is a nice catch-up on who Aquaman is, what he's doing, and all that kind of stuff. And also, this has just been a fun run. I really think Kelly Sue DeConnick, and I was so skeptical of this run when it started. She has completely won me over, doing a great job with Arthur. Arthur is in good hands. But I can't wait till we can get back to some more Aquaman action. Aquaman needs a rogues gallery. A big rogues gallery. He's got 2 great villains. Let's expand beyond that. Come on, right? American Carnage is out this week, issue number 7. Brian Hill's doing a great job of this. Great dialogue, great interesting story. Things get really complex and complicated in here for the main character. Can't remember his name. That's going to bother me. Anyway, the artwork is just great. It's moody, it's atmospheric, it's noirish. It's really good stuff. I'm really liking American Carnage. It's getting deep, and it's more than just what the tease and tag of the story is, which is a black officer, a black FBI agent who can pass for white, trying to infiltrate the organization of a white supremacist leader, right? But it goes so far beyond that, and it's gotten deeper and more complicated than that. And American Carnage number 7 is an excellent issue. Excellent issue. Let's jump over to Image. They got Gideon Falls out this week with issue number 13, another absolutely fantastic issue of Gideon Falls. They're doing a lot of explaining in the last couple issues of Gideon Falls, but they're doing it in crazy awesome ways, mind-boggling concepts, breaking the composition of a typical comic book page, being very inventive with the storytelling techniques. Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, Dave Stewart, they are just on a level together. And Steve Wands doing the lettering and the design. This book is just beautiful. It's awesome. And it is truly horrific. This is one of the best and most effective horror comic books I've read almost ever. Seriously. It's hard for a horror comic book to be ultra effective, at least for me. This one nails it. Gideon Falls number 13 out this week. So good. Last stop on the red line is a new one out from Dark Horse this week. I read this one. It was clunky, uninteresting, and confusing. I just did not get into this one. The artwork was decent at times. Some of the ideas were neat, but it never gelled together, never really captured me. Just kind of just fell flat for me. I just did not dig on this, and that's a shame because that was a really cool cover. It was a really cool cover. Also from Dark Horse, we got Calamity Kate number 3, the penultimate issue of this 4-issue miniseries. Written by Magdalene Visaggio with artwork by Corin Howe. We got Valentina Pinto and Zach Sam there as well, doing what they do, making a great, fun comic book. In this one, they do a little bit of backstory on Kate, explain what exactly went on with her and her damaged relationship and what she's running from. But it's got some nice twists to it and very cool character moments. Really loving this book. It's got some nice monster hunting action, but it's also got a heart to it, and it's got a story it's telling, and it's telling it very, very well. Calamity Kate out this week. Morning in America is out with its 3rd issue from Oni Press, also from Magdalene Visaggio. This one is Claudia Aguirre on the artwork, Zach Sam as well joining on this one. Doing what they do, fantastic book. I really like this. It's set in the 80s. It's so like, this group, their friend disappears. They think it's aliens. Nobody in the town really cares, so they're just gonna, there you go. But it's great characters, and it's refined artwork. Really cool stuff that looks beautiful on the page. The coloring is amazing. The line work is so refined. It's great. It's splendid. The way it is composed, it flows right through. The dialogue is perfect. The characters ring true, and they stay consistent, and the story has a nice ending on the 3rd issue. Morning in America out this week. So this one came out, I think, a couple weeks ago from Black Mass Studio, but we just finally got our copies. Nobody is in Control. Number 1, I think it came out a couple weeks ago. This is from Black Mass Studios. This was awesome. Really cool, dense, layered book that's mostly driven by dialogue, but it does some really inventive things with the artwork, giving you little factoids as well. I really did like it. It's gritty, it's a little rough, but it really is cool. It does focus a lot on conspiracy theories and interesting things like that. It's basically about this dude who had this, I guess conspiracy theory driven radio show for like 30 years. He quits. All of a sudden he sees this dude just hauling ass in his backyard out in the woods somewhere in Georgia. He follows him, and the dude's like, I'm running from this military installation, and he starts leading him down this trail of conspiracy theories, and it's just really, really captivating and really engaging, and I really liked it. I thought this book was kind of enthralling. So if you get a chance to check it out, or if you already have checked it out, let me know what you think if you've checked it out. If you haven't, I recommend it. If you like conspiracy theories and cool indie comics, stuff like that, Nobody is in Control, number 1. Kind of got me hooked. Farmhand number 8 is here, a very exciting issue with some really exciting surprises. Really liking what Rob Guillory's doing on this book. Really fun stuff. Taking the initial idea of the story and, no pun intended, blossoming it out further. Really cool stuff. Adding layers to the world, adding layers and dimension to the story, to the characters. Doing some great work. I love the artwork. It's cartoony, it's fresh. The coloring is very vibrant, but it's got a lot of heart and soul as well as a lot of horror and intrigue as well. Farmhand number 8, I'm loving it. Loving season 2. Fair Lady number 2 is out, so I wanted to check this out because a lot of people responded positively to issue 1. I thought it was all right. I like the concept a lot. Each issue of Fair Lady is going to be a one and done story. with one overarching story that's going to be told, right? So it's set in a fantasy world, and it's like a cop story. It's like a detective story. So they're fair men. She's the only fair lady, right? They're basically the police in this like fantasy post-apocalyptic world, okay? But the mysteries themselves are just kind of simple, and they just didn't really do anything for me. It didn't really engage me. I mean, it's a cool concept, and I think there's a lot of potential here, but I just don't. It's just not grabbing me. 2 issues in, it's just not grabbing me. Another book that's 2 issues in that is grabbing me is Orphenage. Orphenage #1 was a really cool book. It's written by Ted Anderson. He was the writer of Moth and Whisper, another book from Aftershock Comics that I really, really like. Orphenage is basically, the idea is, what if all the adults died? And then years later, what kind of world would the kids have developed? Well, that's what this is. This is a really cool, intense, suspenseful issue. It's kind of like the best parts of The Walking Dead a little bit, without the zombies, of course. Of course, The Walking Dead barely has zombies in it as well. But Orphenage #2 is really, really cool. I like the artwork. It's simple, it's clean, almost animated-esque, but it's got a very moody and a tone brought about by the coloring. Nuno Plati, by the way, is the artist. Fantastic work. Orphenage #2 out this week. Another #2 out this week is Sabrina the Teenage Witch. This one by Kelly Thompson and Veronica Fish. I thought the first issue was all right. I'm usually a big fan of Kelly Thompson's work, so I was kind of surprised that I didn't really like it so much right out of the gate. But I loved issue #2. Issue 2 was so much better for me than issue #1. I just felt like it had a better flow, it had a nice ring to it. The dialogue was just snappy, it was poppy, the artwork was great. I like Veronica Fish's artwork, but usually it's a little rough and gritty, maybe sometimes a little too rough and gritty, but in this one, it works. It works so well, and it really works for this book, and I really do like it. It's got a Buffy the Vampire Slayer feel just a little bit, a little tinge of it here. One complaint, though, I have about this is that it looks like Archie has switched to their covers being the exact same paper stock as the pages on the inside, and that's not cool. That's not cool. Can you hear that? That's like parchment paper. I don't know. Livewire #6 is out from Valiant Comics. Valiant Comics does some really good stuff with some really cool creators. On the come up, like Vita Ayala, for instance. Really liking their work right now. They're doing a great job with Livewire, making it very intriguing. I have not been following this character's story over the years. I've not been following Harbinger or anything like that, but I'm immediately interested in the character, immediately into the story, into the flow of it, especially with the excellent, perfect composition by Kano, the artist. The art is just awesome. The coloring it's just great. Really cool stuff, but the composition, everything works so well. Let me find you a nice page of composition. I don't want to spoil anything, though. So, oh man, okay. How about that? Really cool colors, really great layouts, great composition. This is the artwork's almost like a Wes Anderson film. Kind of got that feel, and the color palette a little bit too. Really cool stuff. I'm loving Livewire right now. Go-Go Power Rangers #20 is out. This is the best Power Ranger comic we ever had. It's Go-Go Power Rangers. Ryan Parrott and company have been doing a fantastic job on this book of fleshing out these characters. Because let's be honest, as much as, you know, we may love Power Rangers, some of us, those stories, those characters are they're not even two-dimensional, they're one-dimensional. They really flesh those characters out in the pages of Go-Go Power Rangers. The artwork is done by Eleonora Carlini. It's dynamic, it's just action-packed, flows so well, and it's able to handle those big, bombastic Power Ranger moments and all the small little human moments as well, like the origin of the juice bar is given in here. And Ernie makes a little comment about why he would own a gym, because he's anyway. Really loving this book. Fantastic stuff. So that's what I read this week. That's what I thought about it. What'd you read? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more comic book reviews, movie reviews, podcasts, and things like that. You can also find us over at popculturephilosophers.com. There you'll find our podcasts and a whole lot more. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Keep on reading. I messed that ending up so much, so let me just do it this way.